afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this event. It is really important for the development of infrastructure objects in Ukraine based on results of meeting that the President signed Order 529 for the improvement of roads in order to create proper conditions for road movement and to create favorable conditions for business. And until 1st of January 2020, Cabinet of Ministers should provide revision of requirements to procurement participants in accordance with best world practices to create conditions for the use of the new technologies, materials in the course of construction and reconstruction of roads, and to reconsider documents in order to provide high quality, European quality of roads. And there should be independent consultants included in the process at all the stages. And also there should be a plan with clear lists of roads and the term of their repair. Andrei Bogdan said that we should fight corruption systemically in the road sector and to carry out the audit of the current relevant agreements, and brought examples when money was allocated and then this money was not provided in full but were disseminated to different projects. And also there are more professional questions that we're going to discuss. And we will discuss these issues with you. I would like to give the floor to Iana Shchygurova, representative of FIDIC in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to greet you all with this important event, the order of the President. And this order, as of today, is a strategic plan. Construction of roads and the introduction of the model of independent consulting in the sphere of road construction. The order is not only about FIDIC, it also is about key positions of technical and scientific survey and conditions on design and creation of the new normative basis and tenders, documentation for tenders and conditions of tenders, and the issues of operation. So this is a good strategic order, and all of us, all those who work in the road construction sector, we should get united and to develop tactical plan how to solve these issues. For a long time, during 5 years, reforms were implemented, so-called reforms were implemented, and this was just nothing. That's why we want that this order stimulated us to develop a real roadmap, real practical steps, and to introduce European norms and standards into our lives. I have a proposal. So the result of this round table, and here we will have opinion of the customers and the representatives of civil society. We have here representatives of consultancy, expert community and legal organizations and lawyers, who deal with these processes, and ecologists, the broad circle of specialists who work in the sector of construction of infrastructure objects. And based on the results of this round table, we should create a working group to have representatives of real business, representatives of education, because we have a pressing issue concerning personnel who will certify these people and what are the criteria for certification, register, putting in operation. We know that as of today, many processes are monopolized and corrupt. That's why, once again, I say this would provide strategic plan, and based on this, we should elaborate our plans. Yesterday, in accordance with conditions of the articles and paragraphs of this order, a memorandum was signed between the Association of Consultants of Ukraine and our organization and State Quality Control Organization, and there are serious points concerning this issue. Now we have the task to work on several objects together and to see how state control on quality works, and the customer should see the independent control of FIDIC and how laboratories and consultants of this organization work, because a lot has been written. There were many letters, and the order of the president said good things about us, but in Ukraine not many people saw us. That's why yesterday's signing of the serious document became a beginning. We should see how they work and what is good and what should be changed, and the customer should see the work of consultants of FIDIC in action in order to understand what they do. Now I would like to give the floor to Bogdan, and he supports the initiative to introduce independent control in the road sector. Yeah, given the floor. Good afternoon, everyone. Of course, the order of the president is the new step in the development of transport and road infrastructure of Ukraine. To implement this order, a lot has been done, and the task of Ukrdordor is to minimize subjective and objective factors in the repair of roads and the choice of spots for repair. We launched a information system, GIS. What it means? This is an algorithm, module algorithm. Due to this algorithm will be filled with data about the road cover and the terms of guarantee, the terms for repair, the types of use, what it will lead to. When the system is formed, it will automatically identify the spots for repair. The system will automatically establish the cost for repair works and whether the spot needs minor capital repairs, and this will be based on the social and economic factors. And also Ukrdordor actively work on an interactive map of implementation of road works in Ukraine, and we're going to present it on the 24th of August. So everyone can watch online the restoration of infrastructure. There will be a huge map, and the spots will be marked, and everyone may go on site and see what organization implements this work, what is done, and in online mode they may follow the processes. So each citizen of Ukraine will be able to see how these works are made on the roads of state importance. Also, Ukravtodor wants to present a winter map of use of roads, and on this map there will be indicated there will be proper navigation trackers for the vehicles, and the information will be reflected on the internet map, and everyone may follow the work of these vehicles. And also there will be different colors used in order to show these roads, to see in what conditions these roads are. Also about transparency, as Iana noted, yesterday an important event happened. The memorandum was signed between state quality control of roads and state agency of motor roads and FIDIC association. As you may know, as of today, all repair works are done in accordance with current and overhaul repairs. This term was introduced in 2010, and all this is about capital repairs. In order to control quality, we have road quality control, and this is current repairs, and you know that consultants are included only for capital repairs under construction, and construction quality control. They have this control, and they control the quality of works that are done. Also, we included one more function of control, and we included FIDIC experts, and now we will have parallel check by FIDIC, and we will see whether the actions are made properly by our experts, and we will see whether the control is proper, and this is an important step in the development of quality roads in Ukraine. Now about tender procurements. I would like to say that the law on public procurement, unfortunately, is not good for specialized construction, and we face the situation each day. As of today, minor repairs and operational support at the main roads, according to the law, it is the service, and the Act of Provision of Service for roads is absent, and this is a collision, and we raised this issue, but the proper changes were not introduced into legislation. Unfortunately, we do not have representatives of the accounting chamber. They focused on this issue, and we should regulate this issue, because everything that is done in the development of transport infrastructure, this is work. And there are many factors. We should improve the law on public procurement. There are some production factors that cannot be spread to selling pencils and buying construction works for roads. For example, the distance from asphalt and concrete plant to the road, and all specialists may say that the plant cannot be more than 150 kilometers away from the site, because there are conditions that should be met but we could not prove this to the Anti-Monopoly Committee because Anti-Monopoly Committee believes that this is discrimination. In order to improve the quality of roads, we should introduce the changes to budget legislation. So when the customer underpays to the provider of the service, but if the road was in good operation, the law on the state budget, it is done only for 1 year, and after the guaranteed term is over, this money, these organizations may not be able to provide this money. So these changes should be introduced into the budget code. Now we go back to the Article 16 on public procurement. There are qualification criteria that customer provides to the bidders. And all you know that these roads of state importance are of first, second, third, and fourth category. Automobile road of the first category envisages requirements concerning technical characteristics and peculiarities of works. Also, this is intensity of movement, more than 30,000 vehicles. 4 lines, dividing line, and if some operator carries out procurement for capital or any other repair of the road of first category of 20 kilometers, so the firm that asphalted some squares or yards won't be able to participate. But theoretically, it can be done. So our proposal is that for the roads, we should elaborate a specialized, for construction, we should elaborate a specialized law on procurement in order to include all these peculiarities. Also important peculiarity, if, for example, contractor, when they carry out construction or reconstruction of some roads, they provide guaranteed terms, and the same subcontractor during 6 or 10 years, depending on what was done, they should maintain this road. Because in my practice, we had such instances when constructor, they have proper documents and guarantee obligations, but when defects were revealed, this company tries to prove that this road was not properly used. So we should include it into legislation that repair and maintenance in the framework of guaranteed term, they should be included. So about engineers who are consultants, we should introduce also corrections. We are ready to have these engineers at all stages and to introduce changes in order that we will be able to introduce them to all stages, and this is really important, not only during construction but during maintenance and operation. Now, consultant engineer does not bear any responsibility. The customer now is responsible, so we should shift responsibility also to the consultant. He should be responsible for decision he will take on site, based on provision 1065, engineer provides recommendations to remove defects. But if they provide oversight, they shouldn't provide recommendations. They should provide requirements If it is not met, then the sanctions should be in place against subcontractor. So this is what we do, what we plan. So these are our proposals, and we may provide them to the working group that will be formed based on the results of the round table when we are ready to join the work of the Commission. Once again, I would like to thank Iana for the support, for understanding, for experience and knowledge that they share with the State Agency of Automobile Roads. So here we meet with the professional community and with professionals of construction market and construction vehicles, companies that carry out these building works and capital repairs, and maybe we'll have construction of new roads. Now I would like to give the floor to Artyom Grinenko. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank the organizers of this event. I believe it will succeed, we will have good results and a quick response to the order of the President. Today I represent here the road business in the framework of All Ukrainian Association that includes constructors and producers of vehicles and materials. About order of the President, I read this document and we support the main idea, and it was pleasant for us that the position was taken into account, the position of the road business. That this in March and at the beginning of this year, we had all Ukrainian road conference, and all road business participated, and there were representatives of government, regional government, and in the result of this conference, we provided the resolution how the business sees the problems in the sector and how road sector should develop in the future. And we put it into resolution, and when the President was elected, we sent our proposals concerning the road problems, and it was pleasant to us to see that our proposals were included. I think it is not new. All of us know about these problems. There are current problems, there are strategic problems that we should resolve in the future. And we see the attitude of the President towards roads, and I believe that there will be other documents, not only this order. This is for the first time when the President directly wants to control and show by his order that the road area is under special control. And I believe that there will be further orders from the President, and we are ready, and the organizers and the participants of today's discussion, they are ready to participate. And we would like to say that we as road business, we also plan to gather all road business in order to discuss current order of the President and the ways how to implement it, in order that business support it or raised concerns about some points, and we will provide objective opinion of the business, and we will provide assessment. And also we will invite today's participants. In August we plan to hold the conference, and based on the results of this conference, we will also consider these points, and we will have someone from President's team, and we will ask after door and other executive bodies in order to implement these things. And we will continue this work, and as a representatives of business, we'd like to say that we want that this reform and changes, they shouldn't be introduced by officials, we will provide our opinion, we do it, and we invite experts to join our work, our partners, association, and other companies with whom we cooperate. Our position should be heard and taken into account, and I believe that it will be taken into account because this position is objective and business is for fair game. The aim of business is to get work and to get payment for this work. And this is the only interest, and I believe that obstacles are created by those people who now hold positions in power. As business, we will insist on introduction of our proposals, and we are pleased that we are heard and we are ready to move in this direction. Thank you. I would like to add the following. Representatives of the road business, this is the main customer and the main balance holder of these facilities that will be built or reconstructed and repaired and maintained. That's why we should take into account the customer. The business should be competitive. Price and quality, they should properly compete, and the balance should be provided, and we should work on it. And our task is to systemize all of it and to establish proper criteria, to write them down, and to provide to customer and business this document, and then some normative documents may be provided. Sometimes it is written by officials or people who are far away from the process of construction. I really value journalists and lawyers. And in our working groups, we often have journalists and lawyers, and but I do not see these lawyers in our working group and at the ministries. I never saw these people. These are good lawyers with good practice. They consider some labor issues, some personnel issues at the ministries and departments, but not those who administer construction projects. And business and civil society, we should help form the right groups, because sometimes there are only officials, those who do not deal with this work, and customers also do not participate. That's why we have such results. So we are just going in circles in this reform. We need proper personnel, and also who will work, what engineers, what consultants we will have. So we should work on this issue. I see the representatives of education, the director of KNUBA. They are pioneers, and they have a course on accreditation of consultant engineers in accordance with Ukrainian legislation. And we have 2 rounds of specialists that already graduated, and Alexander Andreevich will tell us about this course and the problems they face in this pioneering process. And the customers will be interested. There are 2 interesting state enterprises, Ukrdorzvyazok, Ukrdor Connections, those who will administer the system, such as GIZ, and the state enterprise, state quality control. And they heard many complaints, and this order relates to them directly. This was based on the problems that we had in Ukraine concerning quality, and they have good specialists with a big experience. So what should they do now? So all the questions are to you. Thank you. So this is really important order. It shows that our state started to pay attention to roads, and FIDIC consultants' participation now is a direct requirement of this order. So we envisaged the addition of such act in Ukraine in January. We concluded agreement on cooperation with the Association of Consultant Engineers FIDIC in Ukraine. We elaborated the programs. We have proper licensing, and we carry out trainings for consultant engineers, and we provide certificates of state certificates, and the training is delivered by professionals, by professors, and first responses, first feedback is positive, and we want to continue this trend. And I see my colleagues here who completed the course of training in our institution and got certificates. So this is new for us, and we search for new approaches. And now we have the practice of the foreign nations and the requirements implemented in our curriculum. Do you have any other questions? So yes, I confirm our close cooperation, and we are first on the market, and some competitors criticize us, but we understand their position. There is nothing wrong. We actively cooperate with all competitors, if we call them so. I call them our partners, and I believe that in Ukraine we will stop this practice of bad control, and we will establish good control over quality in Ukraine. And our university has a big basis of scientific potential and training basis, and we have good laboratories. This is one of the most powerful institutions, and I'm as an expert of National Expert Construction Alliance. I'm also an expert of the chair, and I would like to assure you that we introduce our documents into single state register. And this is not something that can be rejected by someone. This is official document that is issued after some courses were complete. Dear colleagues, yes, we closely cooperate with the Alliance, and the document that is issued based on the results of training, it is the state document, that it is valid throughout Ukraine, and it is recognized abroad. Thank you. I would like to give the floor to Schindler, and the order of the president was issued concerning close cooperation with the organization headed by Maya. So what is her view on implementation of the order and on our cooperation? Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Thank you for invitation. Yesterday, there was an important event. A memorandum was signed on cooperation, and our enterprise that is in the sphere of management of Ukravtodor is one of the parties of who signed this memorandum. We are ready for cooperation, and for transparency, and we know about the importance of the road issue, especially concerning quality. There was a lot of criticism, and we are open for constructive arguments. And based on the results of yesterday's discussion, and previous speakers mentioned it, we agreed on joint surveillance testing, laboratory testing. And I would like to note that we have powerful road laboratory where specialists work, taking into account the fact that there were many arguments concerning us. But they shouldn't blame us. We are working in the legal area. We may provide opinion. We may act based on normative documents that exist. All we know that a lot has been done in order to change the normative basis. Approach has changed, but believe me, a lot should be done, especially concerning control. We are open to cooperation with the Association of Consultant Engineers, with the other organizations who have the aim to improve control in order to have quality and safe roads. Thank you. I would like to hear from the head of the enterprise who will administer GIS. Yeah, Vadim, tell us please in detail about the system, because this topic is new and interesting and really important. I know that there are several approaches to this issue, and I know that you have the draft, the projects to see in a test mode. This is the office and smartphone. So GIS in the smartphone. Thank you. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I would like to thank Iana for this invitation, and our enterprise is responsible for automatization and support of management of quality in construction and operation of roads. And as Bogdan Ivanovich properly mentioned, Ukrdorzvyazok now as a management body wants to provide reforms and to increase quality of the processes, and we want to support it with proper information technologies. For the first time in the history of Ukraine, information technology is the first priority of the team of the president, and I'm motivated with it. And we provide a lot of proposals, and we are heard by the power, and we hear from civil society organizations and participants of construction market and the association of Iana, and they provide many proposals concerning increase in transparency in the use of roads. And Ukrdorzvyazok took decision to provide proper strategy of informatization and provision of information. And as Bogdan Ivanovich said, the first step will be the creation of interactive map of repair of roads. And we carry out active work to work on the models, to provide this information, to public and for business, in order that organizations saw it online, how these repair works are going on by Ukrdorzvyazok and enterprise and services concerning repairs of different types of roads. This is really important because it provides opportunity to decrease human factor that is present and to increase transparency. We all know the world experience of the development of successful enterprises, successful organizations, Without information technology, we won't be able to move quickly forward in reform and increase of quality of road use. And the world experience shows this. And our task is to simplify this way and to bring it closer to result. I hope that together with Iana and our management body, we will be able to bring more consultants to this process and the civil society organizations to improve processes of highlighting of this information. First, this is information about the map of conditions of road, and the information will be fed in automatically, and this map will reflect the quality control, and also there will be consultants who will participate in the processes. Also, automatization of activities of Ukrdor, passportization of the processes of Ukrdorzvyazok, and also there will be integrated processes concerning the issues of use of roads and maintenance of equipment, and online following of the vehicles, and also the monitoring of work online, also the system of movement. So I believe that the system is really interesting, and we will follow how it develops and how it is filled in with the data. We thank the association for the contribution, and I hope that these processes, they will continue further and the pace will be accelerated, and I hope we will succeed. Thank you very much. Can I ask a question? Of course. We have a free format. That's why if you want to ask a question, please, or if you want to make a proposal, this is not a press conference, this is a round table. I have a question. During the last 5 years, often people speak a lot about interactive maps, GIS, all these systems you've mentioned, you together with DerzhDORNII, but unfortunately, as of today, nothing was done. Nothing is working. We are only speaking. I know that tender is being held, and there is a scandalous situation whether the contract was signed, whether the subcontractor was chosen. And I'm pleased that after the order of the president of Ukrdorzvyazok started to speak about digitalization. This is, of course, needed. I believe that in smartphone, phone or internet, maybe we may see what roads are made, what repair works are carried out. This is not expensive, and we can do it quickly in 3 years. I have a question. So this GIS system, what does it envisage? We're speaking about technical requirements of the tender, because I heard a lot today, but I read the tender and there is no functionality you've mentioned. Please specify what functions will be provided to the system, whether the contract was signed, all those things you've mentioned, when it will be done. What about money? What about tender? Who will do it? Thank you for your question. First, I would like to say that there are two different things. There is a tender information system, and this tender was held, and now it is cancelled due to some reasons. But now we are speaking about interactive map of repair of roads as a first step. I just have been working for several months, and I need to manage it and we will provide information in several months, and we will fill in this map, and on Independence Day you will see the first results. So we'll cover the information concerning repair of roads. It is not about adjacent infrastructure. This is a big volume of information, and bigger system and engineering work is needed, a big scope of work, and this will take years. So we will create this first map in order to provide the most critical information and to make it transparent and to discuss further development of information sector in the Ukrdorzvyazok. You've mentioned correctly that there was an order of the president, and we speak about it. But this decision was taken before the order of the president, and we have been working on it for several weeks. This is not connected with the issue of interactive map is not related to the order of the president, and my colleagues may confirm this. I believe that we should make small and concrete steps, and in this we will achieve results. A lot of work will allow to automatize all this sector that was not digitalized before. We won't be able to do it in a month or two. This is a big volume of work. That's why step by step, with involvement of the main priorities, we'll be able to reach this goal. I really support you. I support the ideas you've mentioned. This should be done. I understand that today you are preparing terms of reference or the system itself. No, we are preparing the system. You will develop it and introduce it. And what about the money? So we are planning the financing of the system. And who is involved in the development, how it will look, all information will be reflected. What road organizations are involved, the customers, maybe some civil society organizations who join this process, or you do it yourself. We do it with the services of automobile roads, and they will provide this information to us. They are the main source. This scope of information is not big, and information is enough that is formed in the services. Artyom, the matter is, this is about state enterprise, DerzhDORNII. As we know, for a long time it was dead due to previous management. But new people came, professionals came. These are real professionals. They know about these matters. So here we have a team of professionals headed by this chairman, and these are his ideas, and the heads of this services of roads, they also supported the head of this institution, and this organization was created for these functions, and now they implement these functions. So he was appointed on this position of the head of this institution several months ago, and now we see the first results and the first proposals in the testing mode. I do not have any complaints about the leadership of this institution, but I could ask you about the work of your organization, what you did in these 5 years, but you have been working only for half a year. I asked about who works, organizations, professional organizations, so for example, COST, they cover this information, they have experience, they have been doing it for 3 or 4 years. You should involve them. Who will use the system? Services? No. The customers will use it, the subcontractors, citizens of Ukraine, professional organizations like yours. That's why I say that other participants should be involved in the development of the system. This is a good position. But as of today, this will delay the procedure and make it more costly. Artyom Alexandrovich, you've said that you read the technical terms of reference. This is not just like opening the site, opening the map. This is a complex module. Maybe you lack experience in order to understand the system. But your experience is enough for everything, right? Let's not speak about experience. Look, we are ready. We have representatives of DerzhDORNII, and they will explain what will include the passportization, other documentation, and the system should automatically work at the end. About interactive map is a part of GIS. So this is the first step that is now being developed. You've said about scandalous tender. I will tell you about this scandal. I said from the start that public procurement order is not properly made for specialized services for construction of a road. And a company appeared for the development of GIS, but they only provided subcontractors, and there were no legal leverage to do something with them, and the Monopoly Committee took decision to remain, they allowed this company to remain. We are speaking in complex. Our first task is to decrease human factor to form proper legislative basis that is proper for road construction, and we should have proper specialists. GIS is not populism. This is a specialized professional product that includes everything from SUSP to passportization and the level of operation maintenance and the distribution of funds between oblasts, taking into account the roads in mountains, through border, and the system will provide information about it. Dear guests, dear colleagues, experts, here you may speak freely. If you have questions, we have open conversation. Please join. In this way, we will be productive and we will have a good result. The work in the systems. Do you know that there is a system of automatized automatized system on the Borispol road that is there in Bortnichi. Maybe you should know, maybe someone told you that during Euro 2012 there was call center. It was successful. It is placed on the 6th floor in Dniprodor. I know that they have such product, and you may also use the experience of your colleague. This will simplify your work in this area. If we are speaking about FIDIC, I would like to say that this is not new for Ukravtodor. Some time ago, about 10 years ago, Ukrdorzvyazok provided a proposal to Ministry of Regional Development, to Cabinet of Ministers, to carry out experiment to provide consultants to provide rules of FIDIC to Ukrdorzvyazok activity. But Ukrdorzvyazok was not heard by the ministry and the cabinet of ministers. That's why this idea was lost, and Ukrdorzvyazok has many elaborations on this, and they built a lot of objects successfully in Ukraine using international funds. This is a road from Kiev to Obukhov, and 01 and Kiev Chop Road, and M03. So we should use the experience, and this is great that now we have such a memorandum, and Ukrdorzvyazok can share the experience. It will be difficult, maybe, but we have topics to discuss. I have a question to Iana about implementation of FIDIC. How it will be done? What is your opinion? I would like to hear from you about this. Maybe I do not know about something. Do we have Ukrainian translations of red, green, and other FIDIC papers? So independent engineering control in the budget sector, if we are not dealing with the international financing for infrastructure objects, it was introduced by provision 1065 in 2010. In 2016, and it was implemented in 2017, and until June, it included that capital repairs, that current repairs did not envisage independent consultant, and one of the members, Gal Engineer Group, successfully implemented so-called hybrid control on roads in Lviv Oblast, and the service of automobile roads, they implemented this provision. Others could use it, and but they said that they needed instruction, and they needed some more incentives in order to implement it, and without these incentives they didn't want to do it. And Lviv Oblast, they introduced hybrid model, and there was state control, and state control the quality, and a small percent was covered by independent engineer. The results were positive, and this positively influenced on the quality of roads. And you know that in 3 and 4 years, Lviv roads became the best roads in Ukraine. And also subcontractors said that they are really pleased with the independent control. Now they say we know what constructors, what they do, because these independent engineers 3 times a day they attend the site, they carry out video footage, and they provide proper control over the work. And some people had rigid position, and there was such an instance, and it was resolved positively. And the contractor was one of the members of our organization, independence one, and unbiased opinion was provided. Kiev State Administration, Deputy Head of the Department of Innovative and Concession Work, Zastavsky Oleg. About GIZ. First, we supported with both hands, as they say. There is information from our colleagues from other oblasts. They support the system. It is really needed. I believe that this is great that relevant state enterprises now deal with this issue. I participated in reorganization of road infrastructure, and I was the member of the group that dealt with roads transfer. I would like to hear about further steps in this area. I know that territorial roads will be planned to be shifted as well. And what about the continuation of reform in the regions, oblasts? Because in some oblasts, the regional roads were transferred to regional administrations. What can we expect? Because in this order, it is stated to cooperate and participate in this, but what is the understanding of this issue? Thank you. Maybe this is a global issue, and this question is for me. The process of decentralization, it envisages in the future, I do not know when it will be taken into account that communities are actively being formed, and this year is the last year of their formation. I believe that in time, local roads that go in the territory of communities, they will be transferred to the communities. And about territorial automobile roads, as of today, Ukrdor developed a strategy of the roads. The task of Ukrdor is to transfer territorial automobile roads at a local level, but to transfer them in repaired condition. The strategy of territorial roads envisages that during 5 years, we will restore fully with the full change of cover for all the roads of regional importance, and then we will provide it to the local level in order that local administrations or communities be able to get quality automobile roads. Not like it happened with the local roads. Many of them didn't see repairs for 30 or 40 years, and financing is now, of course, increased, but this is not the exit from the situation. So these are the plans concerning decentralization issue. Also, we have one more speaker, representative of DerzhDORNII, who do a lot, and they are the initiators of typical contracts, introduction, and normative basis and standards in the sector. Good afternoon. DerzhDORNII, Shuliak Scientific Institution, one of the main institutions concerning roads in Ukraine, and we actively participate in the processes, and we initiate some changes. We participated in development of changes to the rules on cost of road construction works, and payment to consultant engineer was envisaged in point 10 of this document, to pay for the services of consultants. We introduced changes to our documents concerning cost, document 50 on capital repairs and document 55 on repairs and maintenance. And this was done in 2018. Also, on the initiative of our organization, the methodological guidance was provided concerning the cost of work of consultants, engineer consultant, and the specialists of our institute actively introduce changes and deal with the issues of consultants and join reform office and provide changes to legal and normative acts. Of course, we are open organization. We support any initiative of the public and business. Further on, we will move in this direction to improve normative and cost basis of this issue. Thank you. We've invited also judicial organizations, experts are present, experts, journalists who understand this topic, and we would like to now have Q&A session. At the end, we'll have the opportunities for signing of the memorandum with the human rights defenders. So now we would like to speak with the audience and to have dialogue among us. Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. Gennady Rak, I represent Union Ukrainsky Transportny Soyuz, Ukrainian Transport Union. We are the direct users of roads, and we unite passenger transporters, taxis, and others. And the question is about information system. You know that after the road is built, they follow it, they maintain it, and there is such a issue as weight control. Now it is done by the Service of Security on Transport. They have special weight complexes. They were provided by Ukrdorzvyazok, and the issue is for us as a licensed transporters, this issue is painful, and we are put on these weights, and those who have overload for some bribes, they are passed through, and as of now, I know that the head of the service was dismissed. Now the investigation was started, and the question is about this information system. Does it envisage to build these weight complexes on the road? And like they do in Germany, whether this is a car that is overloaded or not, to prevent the stop of the transport and communication with the inspectors of relevant services. I would like to answer this question. You know, now the system of weighing is done like this. There is a platform, there is police, transport security, and the vehicle is directed to the weighing device, and this process is long. This year we introduced so-called weight motion system, weighing motion system. And we have pilot project Kiev CHOP 06, and there is a special device that will do weighing automatically, and in case of overload, this vehicle will be photographed, and this photograph will be sent to police, so bureaucracy will be reduced. And we will see how it will work, and if the system works good, we will have Kyiv-Zhytomyr road that these devices will be installed on, and we will remove old systems, and we will try to not to create obstacles for fair transporters, because we have a lot of them, and there are dishonest also transporters, so the system will work automatically, and if there is overload, police officers will get information about the vehicle, where it moves, and then they will stop based on fact of violation. And we have such a situation now Whether the vehicle is loaded or not, it is put on ways. So we know about it and we want to change it in such a way. About the time of the stop of the car, when it will be stopped by police. As of today, as a representative of the Alliance noted, there is no proper legislation for this. We have pilot project. If the trend is positive, online it is done. Now there are several police office patrols for each road. If there is an overload and the system recorded it, then the signal goes to the crew. They get this information about the car and when it happened, and they decide where to stop it and to stop the movement. Good afternoon. Irina Zamari, Zoryaный TV channel. Our audience is interested in two questions. The first one, what will be the punishment for the organizations that carry out these works? Because in Europe there are big sanctions, big money. They are afraid of violations. Do you envisage some sanctions or administrative punishment? And about modern materials, plastic, modern concrete, because the world is moving fast, and what will be done in Ukraine? About fines for non-implementation of the agreement concerning guarantee terms, and this is in the agreements, these fines are big, but the system, what I'm speaking about, the system is built in such a way. Now we have tender for repair of some roads, for some spots, and the contractor guarantees that for 10 years nothing will happen with the road, but current legislation does not allow us during this 10 years to provide this road to this subcontractor in order to maintain it. They should clear it from snow and for example, years passed and some defects are recorded, but subcontractor says that I do not maintain this road, and we believe that someone maintained it in their own way. That's why we should have a complex approach. So contractor should have the whole responsibility. So they should repair it, and then during guarantee period, they should be responsible for everything that is happening with this road. So the system should be like this. And the agreements, they envisage huge sanctions. But you know about court hearings, we have less arguments than any contractors. Of course, there are positive things. We cannot say that we have only negative things. I have been working in this field for 15 years, and in several past years we had positive trends and good implementation of work. And I see that we have roads that were repaired in 2015, 2016, and 85% of roads do not have any problems. So now they have quality work, they use quality materials. There are some issues because legislation is not proper. We should introduce changes into legislation in order to put responsibility on contractors, and these organizations should understand that during 10 years they will have full responsibility and they won't be able to dismiss this responsibility. I would like to answer second question about the use of new technologies. At the beginning, I said about the tasks set by the president before the government, and was the use of the modern technologies. And I would like to note even more that it is not only about roads, and also modern technologies, they should be used throughout the reconstruction of the country on the whole, because construction, overhaul, repair of roads. This is an important issue. This is also included in the overall construction in Ukraine, because this is the global issue, and I believe that the president will pay attention to this and will rebuild the system of construction, certification, training, implementation of works, and insurance for the period of operation and maintenance of these roads. And the journalist from the news outlet. The topic is not only construction, but also the use of infrastructure. Do we have something on this in this order? Once again, you should read carefully the order of the president and to hear what we say. This is not about the use of roads. This is about the maintenance of roads. And here, about construction of roads, everything is put in correctly. And my colleague said that those who construct the roads, they should provide maintenance during guarantee period. Not use the roads, but to maintain them. We, as customers, we use these roads. As population, we are traveling by bus, by car, or some products are brought to supermarket, or some produce is brought by transport. So these are all who use the road, but the service, road service and subcontractors, they should maintain these roads in order. So we have such provisions now. What would you like to say? I would like to ask. Association of International Transporters of Ukraine, Alexander Lenarenko. So I would like to raise such an issue that is painful for us. I represent cargo and passenger international transport in Ukraine, Ukraine Joint Convention on the regime of labor and rest of drivers, and it envisages obligatory stops for rest of the drivers, and there are tachographers, the devices, and in France and in Spain and Poland, everywhere, you may see the route from the enterprise to the end point. I would like to say that in Ukraine, we are lacking these parking, so stops for drivers, civilized with proper lighting, with some fence security, in order that the driver be able to stop when they travel with valuable cargo, and now they just stop near some lighting the road. And do you envisage to build such parking, such stops along the main routes? Thank you for your question. I would like to say that we face these problems starting 2017. The requirement is on the main roads, automobile roads, the parkings and stops should be envisaged at the stage of planning. So those roads that have been built recently, they envisage such stops and parkings. About the roads that are maintained, so we should focus money in order to provide going through these roads. But when we have new roads, So these parkings and stops, they are included in the designs in the project. So 2 more questions and then we will have signing of memorandum. Bogdan, I have a question to expert conclusion Denis. So the engineer constructor, if he disagrees with the works, can he stop it? So you came a little bit later. According to provision 1065, consultant provide recommendations in case of work that is not of proper quality. There should not be a recommendation, there should be a requirement. If the requirement is not implemented, so the process of work should be stopped. Dear colleagues, we would like to thank all the speakers and we will end this briefing. You may ask your questions of records. Now we will have signing of memorandum. National Expert Construction Alliance signs a memorandum with Будівельне право, and we note that all the members will be protected.